This is a chess-inspired toy that I designed called Sanjigen, and it's made me $1 million. Is what I would say if I didn't mess up this huge opportunity.
Let me explain. Back in 2019, I was playing a lot of chess, but I was growing tired of how long it took matches to finish. So I started to design a little tic-tac-toe toy to hit that perfect blend of complexity and short play sessions. I named it Sanjigen, and long story short, I somehow landed a meeting with a toy manufacturer. And after the meeting, they liked Sanjigen so much that they actually wanted to manufacture it. I just had to do two simple things: make a detailed how to play manual and make sure that Sanjigen is a draw-solved game. We'll get back to what this means in a minute, but long story short, making the manual was easy, but Sanjigen was not a draw-solved game, and it seemed like I didn't have enough time to fix it, and so they lost all interest in moving forward. And ever since then, I couldn't even think about the toy without feeling like an absolute failure. That is, until today. After 5 years of FOMO and self-doubt, I'm finally ready to confront my ego. Is Sanjigen actually foobar? Or was I just too afraid to find out the truth? Afraid that maybe I was never destined for such success due to a skill issue. Which brings us back to this. These are two AIs selecting the best possible move against each other via a digital simulation. And for some unhinged reason, I don't know why I didn't think to do this back then. So if they end up drawing this match, your boy just might be playing in traffic a little later tonight. But enough yapping, let's run it and see what happens. Yellow versus blue, player 1 versus player 2. Yellow off to the corner, good take. Blue defends, bottom corner. Yellow here, okay. So far we have a mirrored match going on, okay. Which means that yellow is probably gonna take it. If blue is just copying, they're at a disadvantage. One more and they should win. That's game over. That's game over. Okay, so I wasn't crazy. Sanjigen isn't draw solve, but the bots that I coded aren't playing absolutely optimally. So I used my human intelligence to play against it just to make sure, and yeah. If player 1 knows how to play the game, then player 2 will never win. And this is tragic. I cannot let this story end like this. I must fix Sanjigen and restore my honor. But before we move on, what is a draw-solved game? Don't worry, I'd ask what this meant too, because I'm a high school graduate after all, which means I'm in a perpetual state of, I don't know, I'm new around here. But basically, think of a perfect game of tic-tac-toe. If both players know what they're doing, then the game will always end in a boring-ass draw. But if player 1 always wins, or if player 2 always wins, that's just a regular solved game. Sure, it's a slight distinction, but as I understand it, some about higher attention or something, but whatever. Player 1 had a sequence that guaranteed a win every single time, and there's nothing that player 2 could do to stop it. A very devastating thing to find out after a good year of development. 1 out of 10, do not recommend. But you know what I do recommend? My turn-based fighting game, Ultra Bouters. Let me show you something. Blue shirt here takes the lead by punishing green shirt and knocking him to the ground. But green shirt somehow manages to force a double punish, threatening blue shirt's new lead. Now green shirt has the advantage as he's perfectly positioned to punish. Green shirt goes for the punish, but blue shirt is a pro player and pushes him away. Blue shirt uses this space to parry green shirt, then uses this advantage to punish green shirt, maintaining his lead. And this is only 5 seconds of a 60-second fight. In Ultra Bouters, you take turns against your opponent, and at the end of the battle, you'll get a replay that looks like a Dragon Ball Z fight. I still have a long way to go, but you can try it free today by downloading it. Link is in the description. Okay, so I got my answer. Yes, Sanjigen was foobar, and I have no skill issue. But where do I go from here? Because I have all of these 3D printed copies that I could just throw away in the trash, or I could tweak the game a bit to be playable and give these at least some value. So the issue with the game at the moment is that it ends after 3 points. Why? Well, that's how tic-tac-toe did it, so I did it too. Get off my back. But what if we made the world's simplest tweak and ended the game after all spots are filled? And then we just count up all the points that each player has to determine the winner. All right, new rule set. Let's see if this is now a solved game or not. All right, pretty boring. Yeah, they just like pick a face and then just put every piece they can. All right, now here's the end game. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna end on a 9-9. 9 and 9. There it is. Sanjigen is now a solved game. All right, well, that worked. And it only took me roughly 2 days of work. Imagine that. 5 years of stress and torment was solved in just 2 days.
As you know, I had the Huracan before, then I had the Aventador.
This is, of course, caviar, served with a mother of pearl spoon, the classic thing.
Nah, I won't have an existential crisis on cam right now.
Following this, I worked on packaging these 3D printed collector Sanjigen for shipping, and making an accessible digital version that you can play on web or on mobile. By the way, did you know that you can play web games as mobile games using itch.io? Why am I just now learning about this?
Sanjigen is now fixed, playable, and ready to share, and if you want to own your own 3D printed collector Sanjigen, link is in the description. But don't worry, I also put the CAD files in the description if you just want to print out one for yourself. But if you have no money and no 3D printer, don't worry, I got you. I uploaded a digital version of Sanjigen that you can play a little campaign with. All of the links are in the description. And lastly, I'll leave you with this. I am so glad to get this project off my shoulders. Watching this project just sit in the corner for half a decade has been slow. Half a decade? For half a decade has been slowly sucking the life out of me, but those days are over now. So you know that one project that you gave up on but you still think about often? Well, do me a favor and go dust it off. Do whatever you gotta do to finish it quickly in whatever form, and I dare you to come back and comment that you don't sleep better.